build a bit of product there that we can shield on the trowel. Okay. So I'm going to start just after the corner. So nice steady pace at the right distance. You don't want to be too far. Certainly don't want to be too close. Okay. Because you're building up too much. You're getting. Here's a too close. Big thick tail lines to move out. Here's the right distance. Nice and spread across.
About a foot.
Yeah. And then with your overlap, it's about 50%. I'm saying, personally, I'm more at 25%. The reason for that overlap is, here's your spray, and the edge to edge, there's your spray. There's the solid part of the plaster. Everything from there starts to tether out and become, you know, there's less product the wider the fan gets. So the reason for the overlap is you've got more solid blocks of plaster rather than plaster that's just starting to tether away.
Right.
Put it in, and using your hand just to sort of back pressure.
And compared to multi-finish, when you're flattening off now, what sort of pressure are you applying?
Minimum. This is
just ever so gentle, just gliding over the top.
pretty much we're smoothing.
And it's almost like shaving foam, isn't it?
Yeah, that's back into the air in it, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can teach somebody that works with you to do this process. You can teach them to spray a meat line at the right time in front of you quite easily.
Yeah.
So that's them putting on for you. You can teach them to knock this plaster down fairly quickly, as long as, you know, they've got some skills, some trial skills, a bit of patience. And before you know it, they can put product on the wall for you and flatten it.
Yeah.
Obviously you need to oversee them. So,
And how long have you got between spraying that product onto the surface and then needing to jump onto the flattening off?
so depending on conditions, it's a bit cool today, so we can go a bit further. But I would probably not want to do much more than a block so big, because it starts to dry into the board and then it kind of doesn't want to spread. All you need to do then is just mist a bit back over the top.
So in this sort of, the weather we've got today and the draft coming in, maybe 3 or 4 square metres max, and then you need to be flattening off.
Depending on how quick you are or what sort of pace you're going at, I'm doing this very casually. I could have sprayed double this amount and worked at this pace.
Yeah.
So it depends what kind of rhythm. I like to get them a more flexible trowel, just to neaten it up a bit. I'm really just gliding that, looking for any imperfections. Even though the first coat you get away with a lot more.
Yeah.
Just get as good as you can every time.
And what's your maximum thickness that you can apply this first pass?
The product can go 4 mil,
Okay.
but I don't recommend it. The dry time increases, it doubles if not more. If you just use a couple of mil at a time, it's always predictable. As soon as you start going thicker, it becomes unpredictable.
And then it becomes obviously more hard to sand back.
It's more about dry time, it just means everything's taking longer. So if you're on a smaller project, you wouldn't want to be waiting a couple of days extra for your product to be sandable because you put on too thick.
Right.
So I put it on a bit thick in the bathroom because we had some special boards with webbing on, and now it's still wet in there. So really what I should have done is put some compound on there first, powder, which would have dried, and then put plaster on. But I tried to use the plaster to do something a bit thicker, and now I'm waiting on it.
Now I noticed when you picked up this spatula, Rich, it's been used, it's got some material already on there.
Yeah.
How long can that sit on your tools before it's going to ruin your tools and you're not able to clean them?
This stuff is water soluble, so this cleans so easy. I shouldn't, but I leave tools like that overnight, come in the morning, just scrape it off or put a wet brush over it. It's as it was before.
Now if that was multi-finish, your tools...
You'd be hard scraping. You're going to overspray the corner a bit, but don't worry.
So I'm right-handed. I'm right-handed, Rich. Would I have my left hand at the back like this?
Whatever feels comfortable, because I spray with both hands.
Okay,
So
that feels okay.
if it feels good to you, just start at the bottom and try and square that up. Obviously, I need it to adjust that first.
So this is the sort of angle I need.
Yeah, just start spraying and you'll get a feel. But if you want to go slower, maybe I'll guide you. You go from the bottom. Go up. A little closer. That's it. You can see it building.
Yeah.
That's it, get high, and just move over like that and go. Come over another line, right overlap, down, down. Now you get either the trowel over there or this spatula, whatever you want to give it a go.
I'm going to have a go with this finer.
So pull from the edge.
And just like we're closing in multi-finish.
Yep. Just nice flat surface, just a nice flat angle.
And do we go back over it?
No. That's the difference with this. You're always coming from an edge when possible.
Okay.
Because you don't want to, if you come in the middle, you need to treat it like you landed a plane. You don't want to leave trowel beads in the centre.
Right. And that sort of pressure that I've got down, is that okay?
Doing that fine. You can come from top to bottom once you come off the edge as well. You don't need to do the big stride. You could just pull the edge out and go from bottom to top.
So a little bit like when you flatten in your first coat of multi-finish, pull it in from the edge, and then from the skirting line up.
Yes, yeah.
And would you go right up to head height?
Whatever's comfortable is what works for me. There's no rules.
What I've noticed straight away with it, unlike multi-finish, I'll probably be getting a lot more build-up now on the trowel.
And we often carry a taper knife with us to take that excess and just slap it on a wall in front or a window reveal.
How's that?
Absolutely fine, mate. It's almost like you've done plastering before or something.
Crazy.
So now I'll go for the flex. Tidy it up. So if you take that one down here, and maybe bigger strides, sort of like left to right, kind of just smoothing in strides.
So you never start on the dry edge?
You can start on the dry edge, as long as you don't start on the plaster, generally. You know, you find an edge. You can come from boards to plaster, because that means you haven't started on the plaster.
Right.
So start again, now you're going to go even more gentle, more delicate.
So less pressure?
Yeah, just closed in, very nice tidy up. What's that second trowel feel like?
It feels lovely. It feels similar to when you've second coated your multi-finish and you're on maybe your third trowel.
Yeah.
That's the sort of flatness that I'm able to achieve, I would say, after 5 minutes.
You've got quite a bit of light in this room as well.
And again, not much build up on the back of the trowel either.
No, you're smoothing in, not taking off.
And the lines that I've left on the wall now, are they able to be left, or does it need another trowel?
No, those lines are fine. You either spray straight over them or you'll straight them down for the next coat.
Fantastic.
And it's the same for the finish. Lines are never an issue. They sand off easy. Even imperfections are a problem. Misses, digs, and dents.
Okay.
And even when it comes outwards, it's not straight back down the sander. Awesome. Catch that texture and just put it back with it.
Now I've noticed these trowels, Rich, you're using sort of semi-flexible steel.
Yeah, that's right.
Why would you use that over, say, for example, carbon?
The reason we're able to use flex, because obviously flex is an advantage as far as the wear and tear on your body and how hard you need to work, is because we did all the heavy filling out before this plaster started.
Right.
By filling our beads out with firm trowels and solid compounds, we're now able to just put a nice smoothing coat over the top. And also, with the way we finish it and perfect it with sanding, if there were any little lines that maybe a flex didn't quite get out, the sander will get it. But
Okay.
if you couldn't do that with multi-finish.
And now if this was multi, I'll be hitting this with the faithful Ragney corner trowel.
You know what?
And you need to? Or?
Yeah, that Ragney corner trowel's here today. Probably still a bit wet, so you're probably going to take a bit off, but...
Famous grey-handled Ragni corner trowel. There's no other one, is there?
As you can see, he's a little bit early.
Okay.
Still a great corner. And all that's needed, obviously you could just sand the ridge out on the finish.
Yeah.
I would have left it longer, but I can just then also take a tool like this. It's not going to be the right tool.
Okay. Now these window reveals, Rich, they're going to be finished with timber.
Yeah.
So you don't need to do any work to these. Now let's say this was a plasterboard reveal.
Yeah.
And you're sand finishing this. How would you finish where the frame meets the board? If you
just a hand sand, just
like a block sander.
Folded disc, like I showed earlier, just one of the circular discs folded in half, and we take the perimeter of the frame when we're going against it, just so we don't scratch it. So get used to that finish one there, you.
Yep. That ceiling has just had a little first pass.
I'm just going to get some
and a quick spat off, and you can see how flat it is.
Yeah, give it a light brush. I'm just going to try and follow you down.
I can sort of already see in the light, Ewan, where I finished with the flexi trowel, and it's already starting to sort of dry out a little bit. So that's the sort of thickness, guys. What would you say that was, Rich? About 3 mil? 2 mil?
Probably more like 2.
2 mil.
Right, you're going to give that one a go, are you?
I'm going to give this bad boy a go.
What we got here then?
That's the Rafina 0.3 spatula.
Okay. And is that got a semi-flexible blade on it?
It is, yeah. It's not fully flexible like the spatulas, the skimming spats that we have in the box, the blue ones. How do you find using that one?
Yeah, it's nice to use actually. It's
Quite
a bit
quick.
different because it's a different way of holding.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, it's
It knocks
different,
it
isn't
down
it?
very quick, doesn't it? You alright?
It feels so unnatural hitting that with a flexi, doesn't it, Ewan?
Yeah.
Straight away.
No,
Just you've sprayed it on, and 5 minutes later, you've got flexi trowel on it. I've been skimming for 20 years with multi-finish, and everything that I'm doing today is just so foreign to me.
Because to a certain degree, you've got to unlearn what you know.
That's it.
You're learning a whole, even though it's plaster, you're learning a whole new system of plaster.
Unless Lucy knows where the key is to the garage, there's a box in the top corner, but yeah, they do sell a version.
But look, right away now, look at the
sure
meterage we've got on, and then bam, leave it,
Done.
finish it tomorrow.
And none of us are sweating yet, are we?
No. Manage to do content, film, fuck around, and still put some on.
Go.
Living the dream, Rich.
Always living the dream, I'm making the dream.
Rich, can you show us what you did yesterday?
Yes, yeah.
I just want to show the members what it looks like when it's been 2-coated and it's fully dry, ready for sanding.
So that'll be down into the back room. Take a light with me.
So Rich sprayed, how much did you spray yesterday on your own?
All of this.
So you sprayed this entire corridor on your own,
And the 2 rooms, yeah.
and these rooms,
Yeah.
and how long did that take you?
Probably about 3.5 hours in between.
3.5 hours, so around half a day. This is complete and just ready for a sand.
So this room's a bit drier.
Have a look.
So this is a folded disc. This is what goes on our dust extractions. And just to give you an example, how this is an extremely powerful light. So you're really showing off. And we've got an obvious line here. And now it's gone. So it's dark there, isn't it? Good dark room.
Yeah, that looks mint.
Yeah, that's just a quick but.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy light, you know what I mean? But I will stand to that light at that angle. You see these horrible imperfections.
I did a video recently, Rich, on glancing light, and I spoke about how on some sites they'll shine lights up the walls, and that's a little bit cruel sometimes, especially if you're skimming with multi-finish. And they've started putting the light in the centre of the room, and they'll inspect the walls from maybe 2 meters away. How do you quality control your work against that sort of method?
So that is, I've done a few videos on it. I go overboard more than what anyone else can do. I use this light as a snag light, and I'll do exactly what you just described. I will walk around and I will hold it low I'll hold it high, and I will make sure once I've fully sanded, if I see any imperfections, I'll get a bit of spray plaster, add some blue chalk, and I'll just put a piece in. And when I leave the room, I have little blue dots in certain rooms, and I know that's where I've super snagged it.
And then you'll come back the next morning and just...
Later that day, quick buff with the hand sander.
Yeah.
And I know that I've been around this every possible light, every possible way. I think it's brilliant.
So no matter what lighting the client decides to put in, whether it's as powerful as this, although that would be a bit crazy, your work's going to look immaculate no matter what. No matter how much sun fires through the window. The
only thing that is going to get in the way of that is the build. If you've got cracked timbers, you can't get away from a bumpy ceiling. You're going to do the best job you can with what you've been presented with. But then when we get the paint involved, we've got anti-reflex flat matte paint. So that really helps combat the light as well. So it really gives it that uniform finish across the top.
So just like multi-finish, just like skimming, if you've got bad joists, bad plasterboard work, you can't. It's not a magic wand. You can't work miracles.
Get away with that. Yeah, you're going to apply a perfect finish to what you've been presented with.
Yeah. So you add in 4 mil maximum.
Maximum, yeah. And obviously you can identify bad bits and prep them out, whether it's bonding or joint compound.
Yeah.
And you can go around and try and blend some bad joints, bad movement.
And the beading, we use thin coat aluminium or stainless steel corner bead. What do you use?
So we use a plastic vinyl bead. I'll show you a box. So the reason we're using these lovely vinyl beads, they're a bit expensive, but they're 2 mil. They're nice and thin, easy to prep, easy to fill up. But with them being vinyl, they flex, they bend. So if you hit a corner, what'll happen is the plaster will pop off. The bead will be intact. So the repair is an easy fill in the missing plaster. If this was the metal bead, you'd have dented it and you'd have probably needed to replace the bead.
Yeah, you're looking at a bead replacement, aren't you?
So this, it's got flex.
So it's got a little bit of impact flexibility.
Yeah, a bit of impact resistance.
Yeah,
definitely. And they're lovely to work with.
And do you have to tape the wing or anything, or?
No, we just stick these on with salve adhesive glue, it just gets stuck straight on.
Yeah.
And it's nice, it's tight, it's 2 millimeters, it's not a lot to cover up.
And again, you're relying on your chippy or your bricklayer, your plasterboarder to have a 100% plumb angle. There's not much give on the bead.
Yeah, we can do what we can do with skim beads. If I need to pull it out, I can, but it just, the prep process increases, I need more product to fill it out, you know, so obviously we prefer to stick them straight on. But
talking about filling out, I've seen on one of your other videos, you've combined thistle bonding coat and you've built out curves and bellies and stuff like that using a thistle bonding coat. So you can, if you want to, you can combine like these Alseco products with gypsum plaster if it's an undercoat plaster. Yeah,
definitely, we can go with bonding. I use bonding to go around door frames, bend curves, pour boarding, anything the same as if you were domestically doing it. Even though this isn't suited for domestic, it works, but
if you were over skimming or over spraying, how would you prep a pre-existing painted wall? Would you PVA it?
You don't need to prime with this product because it's kind of self-adhesive in that way.
Right.
It's self-priming, a bit like any joint compound or ready-mix filler. You can just apply it straight to the substrate. But if you think there's dust or any problems, you're going to want to weak SBR it like normal. So it's the same sort of plasterer's principle as when do you prime, when do you not. It doesn't need priming half as much.
Awesome.
What would you put into it then, Rich?
I'm only splashing, you know, like a litre to like, what, 3-4 bags?
Right, okay. So tiny bag, mixing it with your hand drill.
That's it.
And then bam, off you go.
That's it, we're just loosening a product, putting a bit of water dilute it. These are the thickest plasters on the market, so we get the opportunity to add water to them. Some of these plug products, you would have sprayed them and they would have seemed like piss water straight away.
Right.
Do you miss multi-finish, Rich?
Yeah, my shoulder's been dying for it, so why can't we do that anymore? Why can't we do that?
Like a hole in the head, he says.
Trowel. I hit it way too early, finished the job, thought it looked great. Customer, I think about a week later, was like, "Ian, can you come round?" I went round and it all dried, and all I had was just massive wings there.
Oh no.
So what I love is that, again, even if I did leave wings with this Ragney corner trowel, because we still have the perfecting stage where we've got a sound,
Yeah.
we could get them out.
Yeah, yeah.
So you've always got that stage.
I've had that once or twice when you. It's normally low lighting, isn't it? When you
Yeah,
use the
you just
wrong
don't see
lights.
it, do you?
Yeah, you don't see it.
Yeah, pretty good for a corner.
Very crisp. Okay, Rich. Now this is the second product that you spoke about. What's it called, and what's the difference between this one and the other one?
So this is the bag RG, and we're doing our second coat under our high-powered lights. The difference with this one, obviously, it's a bit stickier, and it doesn't spray quite as well as the Alseco. But once it's on the wall, I feel like you can manipulate it more. Like now I'm using water. I didn't do that with the last product. I've got my light on it. I'm just perfecting. I'm just dashing a bit of water to help myself skim over that surface.
Right.
Obviously these lines are not a problem because they'll be taken out at the end. I'm just now skimming over it. And a bit of water is just helping it glide. I've got some product on the trowel, so if I see any imperfections under that light now, I'm just going to stick them on like multi and smooth over them.
Fantastic. And there you have it, guys. Today's insight into spray plastering with Rich Welfare, the spray coach, and Ewan, soon to be maybe spray coach. Wolverhampton based. What's your business? What's your business, mate?
It's ELV Plastering
And you're based in?
Wolverhampton.
Top man. Good to meet you today, mate.
Nice one.
It's been great. Rich, see you on the next one.